The second most in that time span, 6.
Did somebody have 2 this week?
This guy has 7.
Oh, how about
Since what year?
Since 2012, since Bryce Harper debuted.
How about Carlos Santana?
No.
Mike Trout.
No.
They don't win enough games.
He's on the Atlanta Braves.
Really? Freddie Freeman?
Ronald Acuna already? Like, had like a ton?
Nick Markakis?
Ozzie Albies?
No.
Nick Markakis?
No, Josh Donaldson.
Oh.
Whatever.
Well, you don't think of him being on the Braves. He's on the Braves sort of now.
Long-time Brave.
Long-time Brave, yeah.
Yeah, Josh Donaldson.
You know, Josh Donaldson always strikes you kind of as a meathead. And I saw... And I saw him...
Because of the haircut?
And I saw him...
But is he a bro?
But...
He seems like kind of a bro, too, but I saw him do an interview once, and it was just about the technical aspects of hitting. He was like a savant.
He's one of those guys that rebuilt the swing. He wasn't going anywhere, and he was one of the first launch angle guys.
In Toronto.
I mean, it was really cool.
The juice in Toronto helped. The steroids. the bowls of steroids they would eat with milk like it was cereal was a big part of the product, big part of the process.
Well, that's probably one of the good things about their steroids, if they did them. And I'm not going to say.
They did them.
They never really looked.
Hey, kids, gather around the radio. Danny's going to tell us the good part of steroids.
No, they never looked like they took steroids. It was their performance that said they did steroids. I mean, Jose Bautista is kind of big, but he didn't look like Bonds, and his head didn't grow 3 times over.
Encarnacion was more like
Squat.
husky.
And I wouldn't even want to think that about Encarnacion because I just love watching him hit. I mean, he just looks like he's going to murder the ball every single time he swings. I mean, it's just a joy to watch. It was like
kind of like Nicky Lopez.
Just waiting to see what.
Very similar. Similar.
He'll never break a bat ever because he gets it knocked out of his hands all the time. So I mean, he's not holding.
We're talking Nicky Lopez now, by the way, for those scoring at home. Not Edwin Encarnacion.
No, not him. No, he could break the bat of the force of his swing. He might break the bat. It was like when Robinson Cano was really rolling.
Lopez?
It was different. No.
Nicky Lopez
no,
is?
Nicky,
or are we now back over to Edwin Encarnacion?
No, he's on Robinson Cano.
Let's get past Nicky Lopez and be nice to him. Because clearly the man at this point can't hit. He needs to go talk to Josh Donaldson about doing something besides hitting lazy fly balls to left field when he really makes good contact. How many times you see him, there's a 2-2 count, and they'll hum one down the middle, and he'll hit it, and he kind of has that look in his eye at the plate like, ooh, maybe that's going somewhere. And then, the
outfielder's coming in.
The left outfielder's casually trotting in a couple of steps. So it maybe makes it to regular depth left field. So that was good wood for him.
If they trot in on him, then somebody hasn't read a scouting report. If it went to regular depth, they've had to take a few steps back.
Right.
Because you should be playing him up.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, softball.
Shallow. You should be playing him.
Softball style.
Go to another old-timey reference. They should be playing him Paul Blair depth back in the day.
That is old.
That is old. Nobody plays shallow anymore.
No, but not to be sidetracked here on the Royals, but I'm always happy to talk Royals. And we talked to Ned Yost. Did you hear Ned?
Oh, Ned was great. Ned was awesome.
Somebody said, "Oh God, you're talking to Ned. That's got to be awful."
That's a great segment.
Oh wait a minute, it was Bolig, by the way, at lunch today, and I said, "Yeah, I actually think Ned's pretty good." And Bolig's like, "Oh God, he's the worst."
I did not say that. I said that's going to be fun because Ned is fun to talk to.
I'll be honest. I was stuck in traffic coming over
here.
Way to
just not say anything that I said. Way to misremember that so bad.
You just meet Soren.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it's just.
Is this the first time you ever spoke with him?
No, I know it's not surprising at all. But it's just like, wow.
By the way, Curtis just stood up and saluted you, by the way, if he's listening. Dun, dun, dun.
I will admit, I'm sitting in traffic. I flip on the station. Right. You're starting up with Ned, and I'm like, do I really want to listen to Ned today? And I'm like, well, I'm doing the segment, so I guess I will. And then it just turned out to be an absolute delight, right from him flying around at 52,000 feet to everything else. Saltine crackers. I mean, what a bad choice, but a great story.
So, I'm not going to go through it all, but all that was covered with Ned in 12 minutes today, maybe 13. Just you'll have to go to the podcast and hear how we covered flying at an altitude of 52,000 feet with Dale Earnhardt Sr. You can guess that. We first talked about Junior and surviving the plane crash with his family, and that Ned had reached out to him. But then we did get to his favorite cracker, which I love crackers. I'm always fascinated. I know you do. You have a wonderful bag of snacks that you'll have all these different crackers and chips and everything. And so I always like to find out what kind of cracker are we dealing with here. You know, like Andy Reid, Ritz and peanut butter. All right, man, I know what I'm doing.
That is old school.
That is old school, but
I used to eat
so
that when I was a kid.
Saltines.
I wouldn't eat. Oh, that's
Thai Cobb. And then he goes like, "Yeah, I put a little tuna on it." I was like, "Oh, sure, that's what we all do."
Except for that makes it for a nice little snack. One thing I totally disagree with. Aren't you the one who asked the favorite cookie question in the Final Four?
I have. I like to do like a food thing.
And you always make fun of somebody. Guess what my favorite cookie is?
Well, the one that really chaps my rear end is Jed's passion for the goldfish.
Oh, well, that's not a cookie.
No, that's a cracker.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I had a cookie rub, did I?
Yeah, you usually make fun of people if they pick oatmeal raisin. Or maybe was that Mick Schaefer who said that? Somebody on this airway.
I'm not that down on oatmeal raisin.
It's my favorite cookie, and whoever did this, and maybe somebody can on the text line. Somebody can
913-912-4810.
And I don't know who did it, but this person routinely just makes fun of anyone who likes oatmeal raisin cookies, and I'm like, oh, well, I've got my hand up. I love them.
Yeah.
In fact, I usually will not eat a cookie unless there is an oatmeal raisin there.
I think that's Briscoe who makes fun of the oatmeal raisin cookie.
Maybe that is. Maybe that.
Do you have a favorite veggie? I asked Andy Reid that this week. Said the big summer tomatoes. He loves the big summer tomatoes.
It's a tough call because
so the Gate 5 wingnuts are probably waiting with a basket of.
I don't think this actually is truly a vegetable. I think it's a root.
Tomato's technically a fruit.
Yes.
By the way,
it's a root, but I like turnip.
A root turnip. What the hell is left? Is there anything left in the vegetable category anymore? Now, can't call corn or potatoes. That's a starch. Tomatoes a fruit. But now turnips are a root. Is there a veggie left out there?
I think a carrot is technically maybe a root too.
What
but
about a beet? Is a beet?
Maybe, yeah. I think a beet would be a root also.
Wow.
Anyway, I like turnip. There's a big vat of turnip right in my refrigerator right now that my wife made up for me the other day. It's an incredibly.
Your wife actually cooks for you the things you want?
Well, she usually just cooks for herself, and then I eat the leftovers for lunch.
That's my world. Okay.
No, but occasionally she does make, and it's a really work-intensive thing to make a turnip. It's like a big, really hard-to-cut ball of
crap.
Yeah. But then when you get it down to its great weight,
by the way, there's
goodness.
No chance my wife is listening. But on the off chance, I know we have taco salad a lot because I like it. I'm aware.
That almost doesn't count. But anyway.
All right. Let's take a break since you ruined the segment between you two.
We'll do
right?
a couple.
You and you're hating on Ned and
we'll do a little what we want to see from the Chiefs.
What we want to see from the Chiefs. We're going to find out what the hell Danny wants to see from the Chiefs next here in the program.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker of Easton Roofing. And Joe, oftentimes people will wait to replace their roof until there is a weather event. What should they know about that?
Well, Danny, the important thing to remember is if you're going to turn in a claim to your insurance company, you want to make sure that you actually have damage on your home. If you turn in a claim to your insurance company and they send an insurance adjuster out, it's going to be a claim whether they give you $1 or $10,000. So it's important to make sure that you actually have damage on your home before you turn that claim in. And all you have to do is give us a call. We'll come out, take a look, and make sure there's real damage, and we'll tell you if there's not. Maybe it's just a small repair and it's not worth a claim. So it's always smart to get somebody you trust to make sure there's damage before you turn in a claim.
Quality advice and guidance from Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Schedule launch for the NBA? An 82-game season?
Easton Roofing, the proud sponsor of Danny Klinkskill, also proud sponsor of
Kansas City Profiles. They're a sponsor of my website, DannyKlinkskill.com, but they sponsor my Friday segment, Kansas City Profiles, presented by Easton Roofing, which looks at famous people like ball players like Jeff Montgomery, musicians, but today just an ordinary citizen of Kansas City, but a wonderful one in Carl Little, who's a very charitable person. Great backstory, came here from New England to play football, and really a fun person, fun story. But also one of his enterprises now is sort of being a driving force behind the world's worst copier drop at Union Station, which benefits Big Steps, the
Nate Bucati's charity.
Nate Bucati's charity. So it's a really great conversation, and he's a great man and an inspiration to all. So a really great conversation.
Commercial and residential roofing. Easton Roofing did a massive job right across the parking lot from where we sit right here, but they're happy to do even a small repair at your home. Check them out online at eastonroofing.com. That's eastonroofing.com. Free storm damage inspections, which is important. They can save you money in the future, and they never send you out with an erroneous insurance claim, which is bad news for your record in the long run.
Indeed.
Easton Roofing, totally honest, 100%. They are absolutely fantastic. They did the work at my house and did a phenomenal job. See them today, eastonroofing.com. All right, what do you want to see, Danny?
I want to see something that doesn't resemble Keystone Cops linebacker play. If you really wanted to have a bad feeling last week in the preseason game, and there were so many good things that came out of it, and the offense looked great, it's just that the game opens, and they just rollick down the field. The Bengals I actually came in late on the game and went back and watched it later, but so Mahomes is moving the team down the field, and I'm like, oh, there's 9 minutes left, and they didn't have the score up for that. And I'm like, did they score already? Did the Bengals score already? And they did. They had, obviously. And much of it was that same thing that killed them against the Patriots, which is easy-peasy work in the intermediate passing game. And I know you're concerned about the linebackers, and I don't know if anything can solve it except for different personnel maybe, or different scheming, because I don't know if they get the guys to cover back there. A lot was made of Dorian O'Daniel being a good cover guy, and this regime doesn't seem to much fancy him. So
no, that is one of the things that's interesting, because it is looking like they basically drafted a special teams player in the third round. That can't happen. Yeah. You can find Kerryon Fox in the fifth round.
That's right.
Okay, and Dorian O'Daniel looks like a third-round Kerryon Fox, who, by the way, then went and played decent football for the Steelers once he got better coaching as an actual linebacker for a couple of years. No, the linebacking core has got to get better.
I agree. I think it's, you're really trying to pick lint for areas of concern about the Chiefs. There's no doubt about it. Their defense doesn't have to be great. I think people are overselling what the improvement may be about the defense. But if it is going to improve as much as people hoped, which is maybe to go to the middle of the pack, They can't play linebacker like that.
No. And I think the one thing is they got to cover.
Yes.
Like, they don't cover well.
No.
And, like, the days of the big thumper guys, that's not what it is anymore.
One big hit that makes the crowd go, oh, per game.
Levon Kirkland and Jeremiah Trotter don't have a spot in the league anymore. Right? And that's how these guys seem to want to play. And then, by the way, they don't even deliver the wood like those guys did, on the runs. DannyKlinkskill.com.
Yes.
Thanks to our friends at Easton Roofing for sponsoring Danny Unleashed.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Jed Marshall.
Get out to pit when I'm moshing. My friends are a high, I'm nice, and I got them that way. We bows on parade, my bows full of weed, man. How you been a pterodactyl? You can call me caveman.
Dan Klinkskill. 69 was jammed up for some reason. I usually take 69. Mantis climbing the skyscraper.
Curtis Seabolt. Soren Petro.
And get me a guy to finish things off.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, the presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Klinkskill Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klinkskill Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new.